Kevin Thompson leads the field of 12 down to the green for the McBaxter's 100. Remember, only 12 cars are participating in this race. And away we go. Green flag is out. And this should be a pretty interesting race, if I do say so myself, as here comes, that's Trent Armandy on the middle line. However, I'm looking now down low at Wetno. Oh, contact there. And we might actually have a caution in this race. Yeah, do it for Dale. Marco Polo Capal and someone else was involved. That's Daniel Knutson. All out of the race on the first lap of it. Yeah, the 20 hooked Knutson around there and just nowhere for Polo Capal to go. And Fordale almost missed the incident there and then just slotted in right at the end. Here was the camera aimed at Fordale and just, well, not a whole lot Fordale could do there. And just went straight into the wall. So after one corner, we're already down to 9 cars in this McBaxter's 100. Baranowskis leads over Bracketed, Thompson, Paul Jackson, Wetno, and then a little further back you got Stotska, McGee, I believe that is Braddock Jr., and then that's Armandy also. Baranowskis continues to lead this race. Down the back straightaway they go. We didn't expect to be down to 9 cars by the start of this one. Oh, a little bit of contact there between Jackson and Bracketed. And, ooh, more 4 wide there. That's Wetno and McGee there. JaVale McGee is now trying to take over the lead of this race here as, we're just kind of surprised that he didn't make it in. He was pretty quick in one-off testing. Remember, the American 700 is being run tomorrow, Sunday, Memorial Day weekend, right after the Indy 500 is supposed to be done, so that'll be quite nice for them. There's Baranowskis as well as Bracketed and Paul Jackson. Paul Jackson's been pretty close. Actually, for 9 cars being left, this is actually a really close race. We're not seeing the tire fall off we're used to seeing either here. Normally by now we'd be seeing a lot of tire fall off. And, yeah, right there, we kind of see it with Bracketed. Ciricelli Bracketed had to get way out of the throttle there as McGee continues to lead this race. More contact there between Wetno and Bracketed. Those two have been really hammering at each other around this track. Sosoria Stotska has been slow today. Very, very slow in 9th position. Almost a half a lap behind everybody else ever since the restart 9 laps ago. And JaVale McGee pits from the lead of the race here. Tire wear is a big thing here. Ooh, looks like there's another. That's Baranowskis who is already pitted, staying out. And Bracketed already pitted as well. So they're going around to possibly take over the lead of this race. Remember, tire wear is expected to be a big issue in today and tomorrow's race. And we're kind of interested to see how this is going to work out for them because we're pretty sure they're going to have to pit one more time. And Stotska's already pitted as well. Stotska's going to get her lap back. But I think Baranowskis is going to take over the lead of this race. I'm not seeing anybody that's going to be near that, as here comes McGee out of the pits, and, well, Baranowskis is just going to fly right by them. However, remember, Baranowskis has got older tires, so should be slower, theoretically, on track. However, on track, Audra Baranowskis would have a tire go down from the lead of the race, and that would put Ciricelli Bracketed in the lead of the race over Tannen Armandy and JaVale McGee. Armandy has now taken over the lead of the, or all taken over second, but Bracketed has a pretty big lead. And the only, well, Bracketed and McGee had, the only factory-sponsored cars in the McBaxter's 100. So Bracketed is going to be very, conscious of how far of a lead the car has back to Armandy and I'm sorry, McGee in third. I've made a mistake. I put Baranowskis in there as well. My apologies. Bracketed, though, on older tires would lose the lead to McGee and Armandy pretty quickly there, as they're actually coming up to lap Stotska here, and that might be a little bit harder to pass. Ciricelli Bracketed would pit early on this run, and there's Stotska coming in as well, as Armandy laps Bracketed. However, these guys are going to have to pit as well, so just be wary of that. After the pit stop cycle, Bracketed would have a pretty big lead over Armandy, and Wetno actually is, I think, going to jump up to third by pitting early. McGee is down to fourth, and Paul Jackson should be up to fifth, I personally believe. No, actually, it is Bracketed in the lead over Baranowskis. I apologize. Baranowskis is still on track. Had the lead, but just lost it to Bracketed. However, with 6 laps to go, Armandy would catch Bracketed here. This is Tanit Armandy looking low on Bracketed. And this is where things are going to get pretty interesting here, as Armandy is looking down low. I don't think Bracketed's got much of a shot here. And we're coming to the white flag for Tanit Armandy. Not much of a shot for Bracketed. Bracketed is way slow on the track, just going to try and barely hold on to second position over Paul Jackson. As Armandy takes the white flag, Tanit Armandy is going to pretty much walk into the McBaxter's 100. Kind of a clean consolation race. I think everybody here would rather be watching the Indy 500, or would actually be watching the Indy 500 parade right now, but so far, so good for them. There's an ARCSOA Light Series race later, which is going to be rebranded into the ARCSOA Junior Series next year. And, however, Tanit Armandy comes off the final corner to win the McBaxter's 100. Second is actually going to go to Bracketed, who, despite being really slow, holds on to second. And Paul Jackson comes home third over Wetno in fourth, Braddock in fifth, McGee in sixth, and Stephen Thompson seventh, and Audra Baranowskis eighth, and then Sori Stotska will finish a lap down in P9. And here's your total finishing order of Armandy, Bracketed, Jackson, Wetno, Braddock, McGee, Thompson, Baranowskis, Stotska, Fordale, Knutson, and Aplilica Paul. So, we'll see them for tomorrow's American 700.